You want it to fit all of them. What we say about the last things must square with the whole of Scripture and not just make sense of certain select passages. So some of the places where you can find this. Huge sections of Ezekiel, really big sections of Ezekiel are dedicated to the end times. Okay? How do you think that the Jews interpreted that for 700 years before Jesus is coming, before the book of Revelation is written? What do you think how do you think they interpreted that end time stuff? They sort of looking forward to the Messiah, and where were they when Ezekiel's prophesying? They're in Babylon. So they're seeing the restoration of the kingdom as the end time stuff, right? They're thinking of the restoration of Israel. Daniel, of course. Daniel is Second Temple literature. Okay, it's written about the Babylonian exile. It's stories of what happened during the Babylonian exile. Okay. Mark, very famous section. This Mark 13, most of the chapter, is called by scholars the Little Apocalypse of St. Mark. Okay? We have these little things like you've heard of the Olivet Discourse in the Gospel of John. This is the Little Apocalypse of St. Mark. Jesus' rundown of the end times in the Gospel of Mark. Has parallels, obviously, in Matthew. And of course, Matthew 25 is the famous sheep 12 to 57. Awful lot going on in there. And the other part of 1 Corinthians 15 is dedicated to what? Worship practices, just like we have in the book of Revelation. How do you worship till Messiah returns or gloriously appears? Philippians passage I just read to you. 1 Thessalonians 4, 13 to 18, and 5, 1 through 6. And this is not a comprehensive list. These are the big ones. Okay? 2 Thessalonians, most of chapter 2, at least the first half of chapter 2. 2 Peter 3, first half of that chapter. 1 John, sections of chapters 2 and 3, and of course, the book we're in. So you've got a lot of stuff to pull together. So the reason I'm going through all this is that I want you to understand that I'm not trying to present to you like this is the way it's going to go down for sure. No one doing that is being completely honest with you. Really there. So let me give you an example of the way this works out in practice. Trying to put all these things together with what we're about to read, which is most of the rest of Revelation. There are several different ways it's understood by lots of people. So, possible approaches to what we're about to read. Linear. A linear approach. So if you're reading the book of Revelation in a linear approach, you get the prologue. That's what we've been spending most of the time till now on, right? The letters to the four churches, that introductory stuff, and then the letters to the 7 churches. And then what's about to happen here, we've just heard the opening of the first 6 seals, is 4 sets of 7. You're going to get 7 things done and 4 sets of them, as each follows the other. Then you have the epilogue, which is the hey, yay, we made it, heaven, hooray, okay? So that's your first bit. But there's also a cyclical way of reading it. And both of these have been used on the book of Revelation back to the 2nd century, as near as we can tell, okay? In which case you get the prologue and 4 sets of 7, but each of those sets you're viewing the same thing from 4 different angles. Okay? So instead of it being a sequence of 28 things that's happening, you're getting the same 7 things viewed from, you see it one way, then you see it the next way, you see it the next way, and you see it the next way, until you get to the end. And then the epilogue. Okay? So I'm not trying to say this is the way to read it as we go forward. this is just one of the best ways to read it. So here's a give you an idea of how that cycle thing would work. Revelation 6:13-14 has the sky being rolled up like a scroll, while Revelation 11-6 has the prophets shutting up the skies so that no rain might fall. So that would be a way of reading it as a cyclical. Same thing, different statement of